Today, we're diving into one of the most ancient and, honestly, most fascinating hymns from India's Vedic texts. It's a prayer with a very specific and pretty complex goal, figuring out how to talk to a god of just immense, almost unimaginable power. And that brings us to the central challenge, right? I mean, think about it. How do you even begin a conversation with a deity who embodies both pure, terrifying destruction and, at the same time, profound grace? This isn't just a philosophical puzzle. It's the very problem at the heart of this powerful prayer to Rudra, a really fierce form of the Hindu god Shiva. So, who is this Rudra exactly? Well, ancient texts paint a picture of a storm god, this raw, destructive force with a mighty bow and fearsome arrows. But then on the flip side, he's also known as this incredibly compassionate protector, the very first divine healer, and a guardian of all beings. He's the ultimate paradox, wrathful and merciful, fierce and benevolent, all rolled into one. Now, the prayer designed specifically to approach him is called the Sri Rudram. It comes from a collection of ancient texts known as the Yajurveda, and it's considered one of the most potent hymns in all of Hinduism. Its goal isn't just to ask for stuff, but to achieve real peace and protection by totally shifting how you see the world and the divine's place in it.
Okay, so the real genius of the Sri Rudram is all in its structure. To really get what it's doing, you have to see how it's built. It's actually split into two very distinct, but deeply connected parts.
And you can see the contrast right away. On one side, you've got the Namakam. Its key word is Nama, which means I bow or salutations. It's all about humility, about surrender. Then on the other side, you have the Chamakam, where the person chanting actually starts asking for blessings, using the phrase chame, which means and to me. For this explainer, we're going to focus on that first part, the Namakam, because honestly, its strategy is just so brilliant. So how does this actually work in practice? I mean, if you're standing before a god who could literally destroy the world, what's your opening line? The Nakam has this very specific and psychologically pretty amazing strategy. Here it is, this brilliant two-step approach. First things first, you don't run from the danger. You actually acknowledge the god's full power, his anger, his weapons. You look right at it. And only then, once you've shown that you understand and respect that power, do you make your request. Please, turn that terrifying strength of yours toward our well-being. And check this out. Here's that first step in action. The prayer starts with incredible courage. Instead of just pleading for mercy, it opens by saluting the very things that make Rudra so dangerous: his wrath, his arrows, his bow. It's an incredible act of respect for who the deity is, in his totality. And then, bam, right away comes the pivot. The hymn basically says, okay, we see your weapons, we see your power. Now can you make that same arrow and that same bow auspicious, peaceful, and a source of happiness for us? It's not asking him to put down his weapons, but to use them for good. All right, so once Rudra's fierce nature has been respectfully acknowledged and, sort of pacified, the hymn does something absolutely extraordinary. It just completely blows open its vision of where you can find the divine. And this is so important. This isn't a prayer about some distant god way up in the sky. The Rudram is arguing that the divine isn't separate from the world we live in. It is the world, in every single one of its messy, beautiful, and sometimes scary forms. And this is where things get, well, pretty radical. The hymn offers salutations, that nama, not just to Rudra as some cosmic king, but as the lord of carpenters and potters, of merchants and hunters. And then, and this is shocking, it salutes Rudra as the lord of thieves and robbers. The idea is that the divine is present even in the outcasts, even in the lawbreakers. Nothing and no one is outside of its reach. You see this again and again. The hymn just dives right into these dualities. It salutes Rudra as both Bhava, the source of everything, and Rudra, the fierce one. He's the eldest and the youngest, the great and the small. He's found in fertile lands and in barren lands, in the clouds and in the lightning that flashes from them. The message is crystal clear. Divinity isn't just one side of the coin. It is the whole coin. So, you gotta ask, why has this prayer been chanted for thousands of years? What's its secret sauce? Well, it all boils down to that one simple, endlessly repeated word. See, the act of saying Nama, I bow, to everything is the ultimate spiritual practice. What the hymn teaches is that peace isn't found by ignoring or wishing away the difficult, the scary, or the unpleasant parts of life. Peace is found by acknowledging the divine presence that exists within those very things. I mean, that's the whole philosophy right there in a nutshell. You bow to the fierce and formidable aspects of reality, and you also bow to the sources of happiness and bliss. You accept it all. You learn to see the sacred in the storm just as clearly as you see it in the calm that comes after. And that really leaves us with a huge question to think about, doesn't it? If we take this ancient wisdom seriously, this idea that the divine is truly present in everything, from the beautiful to the terrifying, from the creator to the destroyer, from the saint to the thief, what does that actually ask of us in how we choose to live our lives and see the world around us?